Welcome back here to Live Now from Fox, where we continue to keep you up to date on stories that come to us here from across the country. Of course, a lot of times we know that there are multiple stories that we not only bring to you in the moment, but then also continue to keep you up to date on. So with one of those stories, it has been a story many people talked about last year, her name on the mouths of many, as we continue to learn more about Gabby Petito. Now here learning a bit more as the FBI does provide us with one final investigative update on her case. So yesterday, the family of Gabby Petito met with the FBI at the Tampa field office as the investigation will be closed in the near future. FBI Denver Division Special Agent who is in charge says all logical investigative steps have been concluded in this case. The investigation did not identify any other individuals other than Brian Laundrie directly involved in the tragic death of Gabby Petito. The FBI's primary focus throughout the investigation was to bring justice to Gabby and her family. The public's role in helping us in this endeavor was invaluable as the investigation was covered in the media around the world. On behalf of the FBI, I want to express my deepest appreciation to the public for the thousands of tips that were provided during the investigation, and to our local, state, and federal law enforcement partners for their work throughout the investigation. So the FBI opened its investigation into the disappearance of Gabby Petito back on September 12th, 2021, upon receiving reports from Gabby's family that she had been missing. Now, the FBI is working with federal and had worked with federal, state, and local officials to organize a search in a remote area in the Grand Teton National Park and Bridger Teton National Forest. Now, on September 19th, the search team did locate the remains of Gabby Petito that had been dispersed in a camping area near where she and Brian Laundrie had last been seen together. Now, Miss Petito was found approximately 3 weeks after her last known communication, and the Teton County Coroner's Office then had concluded that she died of blunt force injuries to the head and neck with manual strangulation. Now, while law enforcement investigated all logical leads, the investigation quickly focused on the last person believed to see her alive. That was Brian Laundrie. So here is again some of that timeline. FBI investigation had revealed that between August 30th and September 1st, Brian Laundrie had used Gabby's debit card without authorization on his drive back from Florida to Florida from Wyoming. So this happened after Gabby's death, where several text messages identified between Brian Laundrie's phone and Gabby Petito's phone. The timing and content of these messages are showing that there was an attempt to deceive law enforcement by giving the impression that she was still alive. Then on September 15th, Brian Laundrie's Ford Mustang had been recovered at that Carlton Reserve, which was again in one of those parks in Northport, Florida. So then on September 17th is when Brian Laundrie's parents had reported him missing after law enforcement had conducted a welfare check at their residency. Then just a day later, law enforcement officials had started to begin that extensive search for Brian Laundrie, and it was again throughout many murky waters and foresty areas that they had been trying to conduct this search. On September 22nd, the U.S. District Court for the District of Wyoming issued a federal arrest warrant for Brian Laundrie. Now, this warrant was due to that use of the unauthorized use of the device, so for the use of Gabby Petito's debit card, but he was also the only person that they were interested in to also question on Gabby Petito's death. On October 7th is when law enforcement made a request through the Laundrie family attorney that they provide personal effects to law enforcement, which were used to assist in the search of that environmental park where they believed Brian Laundrie was. Then on October 20th, after water had receded from that area where the park was reopened, Mr. Bordolino, who was the Laundrie family attorney, had notified law enforcement that Mr. Laundrie's parents intended to return to the park to search for Brian. Now, law enforcement officers were there when the parents had located an item in the park determined to have belonged to Brian Laundrie. Now, upon a further search of this area, investigators then found human remains that were later confirmed to be Brian Laundrie, along with a backpack, a notebook, and a revolver. A review of the notebook revealed written statements by Mr. Laundrie claiming responsibility for Gabby Petito's death. And on November 23rd, 2021 is when the medical examiner's office in Sarasota, Florida had released its report on the manner and cause of death of Mr. Laundrie. The report concluded that he did die of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So the FBI, again, releasing this final update of the Gabby Petito case. They do say thank you to all the law enforcement agencies involved in the investigation, including the National Park Service, U.S. Forest Service, the Teton County Sheriff's Office, Teton County Search and Rescue, Jackson Police Department, and many others who also played an important role in this case. So once again, we did want to just bring this final release here to you, as this has been such a big story that has touched the lives of so many. Gabby Petito, again, is going to be missed not only by her family and friends, but also by those who had been impacted by her death so much.